I'm just going to get right into it. Don't want to hold up anybody's afternoon. Prehistoric Googling. I remember that. We still do a little bit of this in our own library, don't we?
Yes.
When I was a kid, we didn't have bottled water. We had a garden hose. Share if you remember. Not only that, my mother locked me outside. Anybody else get that experience? Just me? Okay. All right. Who remembers playing in the creek? Did that all the time. When I was a kid, if you could run up the slide, you had skills. I remember that too, and it was a hot slide, right? Burn your fingers. I turned out all right. There is a generation of kids that have no idea what this is. How many of you worked with one of these? I worked. Remember this feeling? Flying off the swing. My daughter does that in gymnastics still. It scares the hell out of me. Excuse my French, but it does. I try not to look now. It's just really, she gets up on the second bars. You know you're grown up when you actually pick up the ice cube instead of kicking it under the fridge. Right? Anybody still kick it under the fridge? I thought there was a few of you. Young at heart, that's what that is, young at heart. I will ignore him all day so he knows I am mad. What a nice, quiet day. I've lived that. All right, COVID-19 in Westminster. Good news. No cases. We'll move on, yeah. Health center visitation is open. Masks are no longer required to be worn while visiting assisted living or the healthcare center, right, Joe?
That's correct.
Please stay home if you're ill, though, right? Even if you think you have bad allergies, stay home and stay away from the healthcare center residents. Please follow all precautionary guidelines like screening in, hand washing, and sanitizing, but you don't have to wear a mask anymore. And I'm so glad I can breathe now and I can see your smiling faces. I miss those at times. Questions and answers. When will 1890 be available in the Carlisle building? The answer is we are not sure. I sent an email and I phone called yesterday with Spectrum. The problem has been turned over to their engineering department. The problem is that the Windsor and Preston nodes will not communicate with the Carlisle node. So they have to figure out, are they going to replace the Carlisle node and make it communicate with the new node, or replace the Preston and Windsor nodes and allow it to communicate with the Carlisle. The good news is that it's in their contract, they have to supply it to us. The bad news is they don't have to guarantee when they supply it to us. But I can tell you that I have told them that I have a contingent, a battalion of angry seniors, and that if you don't get it solved soon, you're going to help them solve it. When will the new Windsor chillers be installed, running, and tested? This should be completed on June the 6th. The new chillers are actually in place. I think I have a picture of them in my slide. And I believe they're trialing them today, one of them at least. And then the mobile chiller is still in place. We're going to leave that in place for about a week after we get the new chillers in, just in case something goes wrong.
Good.
So we don't want you to get, heated or upset, flushed, or any of that. So, we'll work on that. When will the new Windsor boilers be installed, running, and tested? We hope to start June the 15th and have this done by end of June. So the boilers are here. The same company that's installing the chillers will be doing the boiler work. And we hope to have this started. The plumbing has to be rearranged in the mechanical room, so that's going to take us some time. But we hope to have them tested and running full capacity at the end of June. When will we have more visitor parking? Work will subside on the Windsor North entrance this week. Third floor Windsor should be complete by the end of June, but there'll be less contractors on the parking lot. We also were able to remove the porta potties and the dumpster. Once the mobile chiller gets out of the way, that'll help to less and less subcontractors on the parking. So, and we also need to use the Carlisle garage more efficiently and allow more people to use it. There's a lot of empty spaces in there. So we'll start to work on that, and we expect to have more visitor parking soon. It would be very nice to have some seating in the entranceway outside of the Carlisle, much the same way as at the Preston. We do not have the beautiful gardens that the other buildings have, but there is green space in front of the visitors parking that could possibly be developed. Absolutely, I walked through with the interior designers today, and we'll look into this. They're looking for some options for us to put in front of the Carlisle building, some waiting benches or something like that. Will the Carlisle be hooked up to 1890? Again, same answer as before, but I wanted to show you that I've got probably 10 requests for that. There's a rumor going around that 1890 is the best channel in the TV guide. It may be. Ruth is like, yep. So, why don't the elevators in the Carlisle talk to each other so that they would have improved efficiency? That's a good question. I'm surprised that I haven't got that question already. They do not talk to each other. They will, they should, but it's waiting on a computer board that provides that function, and it's likely several months before we receive it. We also have some doors we're waiting to receive. They should be coming in August, but there's quite a few items that we've had trouble with during the Carlisle construction. We pre-purchased as much as we could, but unfortunately that board is not in yet. Once it does come in, they'll be installed. It's part of the project budget. What is the schedule for blowing out all the dust, etc., in the annex garage and the tunnel off of it? We typically do this on an as-needed basis because we don't like to blow dust all over the residents' cars. We also don't like to displace you. I'll have it looked into. I wasn't aware that it was that dusty, but if it is, we'll definitely have it taken care of. Maybe we'll vacuum it up instead of blow it all over your cars. Why can't we regulate our air conditioners? It's driving me crazy. And I think this is from a Carlisle resident. The air conditioners are programmable. There are instructions to do so. If you don't have the instructions, you can reach out to the marketing department or any reception desk, and they can get them for you. We'll also come by and assist you, and I've heard that Paula is very good at programming the thermostat, so if you need help, she can do that. You can just call reception in the Carlisle, they'll come do that for you. And if all that fails, call me and I will help you program. And I will read the instructions before I do. Westminster trips. Can we include the telephone number of the Carlisle reception desk for signing up? Yes. We will correct this going forward. Can you remind residents to not feed the rabbits and other animals around the campus? Yes. Please stop feeding the wild animals around the campus. This is creating a nuisance. I appreciate all the information we receive and am continually impressed with the number of interesting activities here at Westminster. It would be helpful for us newcomers to know the best way to communicate with all of you. And the answer to that is please call a reception desk, any reception desk, and they can get you to the person you need to talk to, right? And that's the reason we have receptionists, because I kind of coordinate and facilitate the needs of the residents, and they send you to the emails or voicemails that you need to talk to, or the telephone numbers. You can always email me anytime, and it's just charlesforst@wmanor.com. Since I have not seen an air conditioning company come to change all the filters in the apartment every few months like we had at one time, I would like for Chuck to address in his chat. So the company that we had doing that AAA filters, they've been servicing us for years and years. They stopped doing it. They're not servicing us anymore. They refuse to come out. So we are doing this ourselves. We've ordered the filters. There's approximately 3 or 4 different sizes, and we will install with a contractor, MPS, and ourselves. Man, they should be delivered any day. People have been complaining about mosquitoes. Can you would you please ask people to make sure that they don't have any standing water on their patios? That would really help. That's true. Please address any standing water you may have by emptying it on your neighbor's balcony. No, just kidding. Don't do that. Just pour it out. Don't let standing water. Don't water so much that it is standing. And we're treating for mosquitoes as well. Can you please let residents know that no one is to pick the flowers in the courtyard, as they are for everyone to enjoy. So guys, if you're trying to score some cheap flowers, go out and buy them at H-E-B or something and leave the flowers in the courtyard. You romantics. Where is Maddie? She is still here. She is in the third floor laundry in the Carlisle. And I moved her there. It's a brand new office for her. She loves it. It's air conditioned, brand new machines. The reason I moved her there is so she's not taking up the laundry room on the second floor. And she's in a laundry room that only gets used at night by our staff. So she can work in there uninterrupted all day long, and she doesn't impact anybody negatively. And the residents then are free to use the second floor laundry, and we don't have a pile of stuff sitting in a corner looking trashy. No offense. But now that's where she is. She's in third floor Carlisle. She's working out, right? She's in the assisted living, so the assisted living folks get to visit with her as well. So that's good for everybody. What is the status of the internet in Windsor and Preston? Spectrum is still working on the installation of Wi-Fi in each apartment. A WAP will be installed soon. Inspire Wi-Fi is also being upgraded over the next few weeks. I have asked for a timeline on each. So I'll send out an update letter with some dates for those installations. I know that we're kind of frustrated with the Wi-Fi, but it is running, and the Spectrum, most of the project has been done except for the installation of the WAPs, and that should be very soon. The Inspire Wi-Fi is up and running, and they're going to upgrade all of their WAPs, so they're replacing them with brand new wireless access points. So you should see a major improvement soon on the entire campus. What is the process for making requests of the kitchen? Is there a committee one can join? Is there a suggestion box? Best way to do that is contact anyone on the food committee. You can leave your comments on comment cards. You can call reception and ask to talk to food and beverage. Yes, there is a committee, and I ask you to reach out to those folks. There is also a suggestion box located in the mailroom. I was told today that we don't have the suggestion box in the Carlisle mailroom, but we will put it there shortly. And you can always shoot me an email. I'd also like the daily specials to offer more vegetables and fewer pasta, rice, potatoes, and bread to empower residents to eat more in alignment with recommended daily allowances of at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Can we do that? I will pass on the suggestion. There are beautiful outdoor spaces for alfresco diet eating, which I'd like to see offered more regularly. Can we? We'll work on that. We can do that. First, we needed to staff the dining rooms optimally, which we're working. We're almost there, and then we should be able to do that. Although eating outside today, I don't think is very attractive. It's pretty warm out there. I often scald my fingers when I turn on the tap water. It comes out immediately very hot.
Who is that?
I don't know. No, I do know. I'm not going to tell you who it is. I am concerned that someone will get burned. Does each unit have a hot water heater? No, the building has a boiler system. We will check your apartment temperature. It should be between 115 and 120 degrees. It's not scalding temperature. There's actually a regulation that you can't have it above 120 because that does cause scalding, so we don't run it that high. We mix it down though, typically.
There's just no pressure. We don't get but a tiny little stream of hot water.
Not enough pressure in the Preston, right?
Windsor.
Windsor?
In the Windsor.
Oh, the Windsor. We have hot water problems in both buildings. I'll talk about that in just a
We
minute.
have a new water. Why isn't it better?
It's not good for
It's not the boiler as much as it is the plumbing and the pump, the circulating pump for the boiler. And that's being replaced as part of this project. We're putting in a new boiler system which is going to have a variable speed pump that, and based on demand, will increase its production. And it's going to solve the problem for the Windsor. The Preston problem is more complicated. It has multiple recirculating pumps and multiple boilers. The plan is, and this is the project that I've been talking about over the last several months, actually a year, that had to go through the permitting process with the city. So did the Windsor project, but the Preston project, because we're adding this room to the roof, it took a lot longer to get through the process. We had to reboot the design process several times to get us there. That's the project that we've taken out the west parking spaces along the Mopac wall to do the connections and the landing area for the boilers. But the plan is to put 5 boilers on the roof, and then they're able to ramp up as the need ramps up for the building. And then they'll have a variable speed, much like the Windsor's going to have, that can produce the hot water for the entire building from that location. It'll have redundancy built in as well. Can we get a remote for the garage door opener on Carlisle's garage like on Windsor? And we'll look into this option. It's not capable of doing that right now, but I think we could add something to it that would allow us to do that. Can you remind all to slow down in the garage, especially staff coming from the 2nd and 3rd floors? We have, and we'll continue to address this with everyone. We're likely going to have to put some speed bumps in there as well. I hate to do that, but we need to control our speeds. We're going to be putting up a bunch of signage as well. Speaking of which, can you install a slow sign for people coming down the ramp, and a mirror on the wall opposite the entrance would help exiting cars see if someone is on the ramp? The mirror's already been ordered. As soon as it arrives, we'll be mounting it and then doing additional signage as well. How do you find a directory for residents? It is located on the portal. You must be signed in with a password to access it. You cannot see it from the public-facing side of the portal, so you have to sign in with a password. If you need a password or you need to reboot your password, just reach out to Ruth and she can help you do that. Can you remind residents that the pendants are water resistant and okay to wear in the shower? Yes, they are okay to wear in the shower. Resident pendants are water resistant, and can be worn in the shower. Don't wear them in the pool. I am freezing. Can we have the dining rooms, hallways, and common spaces warmer? So I had them turn up the common spaces to 74 degrees a few weeks ago, from 72 degrees. And I will tell you, there are some areas that may seem colder. Like right now, I'm sitting in front of this air conditioner, and so I'm getting a little bit more cool air than the rest of you are. There's, especially in the Preston, well, both the Preston and the Windsor building, there are areas in the hallway that are really chilly. But that's the way the system is designed. There's actually what they call a fan coil unit, so an air conditioning unit sitting in particular places in the hall, and it produces cool air for the entire hallway. So when you walk through that area, naturally it's going to be cooler than the rest of the hall. But I walked around with my thermometer gun or temperature gun today in both buildings, Windsor and Preston, and the average temperature is around 73.5. So it's really pretty comfortable. You can put on a sweater, but it's hard for me to take anything else off. And you don't want me to take anything else off. But, you know, it's everybody working in the building and living in the building. We have to kind of, you know, regulate the temperature for the corridors and common spaces, you know, for everybody's comfort. So 74 degrees, that seems pretty reasonable. So that's what we're running everything. I will tell you that there are times that the dining room, the Laurel dining room, is uncomfortable and it's cool. It's too cool. And what's happening there is the kitchen and the dining room are being served from the same air conditioning unit. And so we really need to separate that into two different zones, because you have a lot of heat load that's in the kitchen. And so that area really needs to have much more capacity than the dining room does. If you're sitting still, you're not gonna get very hot, right? So we're looking at that as part of our next phase, to try and separate that into zones and to have a separate unit for the dining room and a separate unit for the kitchen. Could you offer more soups with vegetable stock suitable for vegetarians? We had vegetable stock today, but I have sent that request to the chef, and he will address as he's able. Can you please ask residents not to remove flyers from the elevator signs? And I think they're specifically my Chuck Chat picture. No, I don't know. I don't know if it is. If you want a picture of me, you can get one, just ask. But no, don't take out the signage. And is that your way of remembering that there's an event coming up that you want to go to? I don't know. But let's not remove the signage from the elevator. Let the staff do it, okay? And if you get a daily and a weekly, right? So use it and leave little posters up, okay? That way Ruth doesn't have to waste more paper and print more color copies, right? All right. And if you want my picture, just ask Ruth for it. She can probably get you. Yeah. Can you please give us an explanation on what is going on with the Preston A Wing hot water? Is there a long-term and effective plan for permanently resolving the issue? Yes. So specifically, on the A-Wing, a modular unit was installed to serve the A-Wing of the Preston after the boiler for that section failed. Shortly after the boiler failed, the pump for that wing, the recirculating pump that circles, basically it pumps the water into a circle, and it keeps the pressure up and keeps the hot water near your apartment. That failed as well. So they had to replace the booster pump and the main recirculating pump for that wing. It took them about 4 days to do it. There was a supply of hot water, but you had to run your water to get the hot water to your apartment, because it had to go all the way through that loop and get to your apartment. If you were on the 4th or 5th floor especially, it took a long time to do that. So they have replaced it. It should be better, but it's still not great. Our intent is to make it great, but really great doesn't come until about 4 months from now, when we have the permanent solution, right? So right now, you're having to run your hot water for a longer period, a couple, 3 minutes, to get hot water, really good hot water to your unit, to your shower. That's there is a permanent plan, and we're working to install that plan as quickly as possible. But it's it involves a crane, they're creating a room, all this equipment's gonna be lifted to the roof, it's gonna be plumbed, they work through all of this process through this plan that's been approved. Would you please remind everyone that cell phone use for making or receiving calls is prohibited in our 3 dining rooms? Please do not use cell phones in your dining rooms, restaurants. That's kind of common sense. Would you please remind everyone to back away from the elevator doors and let folks off before crowding into the elevators? I had that one again. I guess y'all are just flooding into the elevators and trampling people. I don't know. Terrible. Yes, residents, please consider yourself reminded. While we're at it, let's talk about elevator etiquette again. Make way for others to exit. This is on the internet. I Googled it, right? And found these things. Make way for others to exit as needed on their floors by stepping out if necessary. Be polite when getting off a crowded elevator. Don't be rude with the close button. I've seen you. You see me coming and you press the close button. I know who you are. Only use the emergency buttons in an actual emergency. Don't engage in inappropriate activity like smoking, drinking, eating, putting on makeup, or talking on a cell phone. Keep the noise down. Put your boom boxes away. Manage baggage and other items considerately. That means you should keep them close to your person, not against somebody else. Keep them as near as you're able. Don't crowd into an already crowded elevator. Protect your personal space and those of others. Don't bump into people. People don't like that, do they? If you do, apologize. Use common sense when pressing buttons. Don't press them all just for fun. Pay attention to elevator direction. Wait for people. So if it's going up and you're going down, step aside, right? Wait for people to exit before entering the elevator. That's good for everybody. Just a reminder, the Westminster Campus Shuttle Service is available for your use. Please contact reception security when needed to request your shuttle. The shuttle service is available from the hours of 8 a.m. to 9:30 p.m., 7 days a week. This is for our campus, between the buildings. Can you help us understand the liquor license and what it means to us? So remember I said I was going to reach out to the lawyer and ask him, right? Yes, you are allowed to bring any type of alcoholic drink to the bistro, as there is no liquor license in that dining room. Unfortunately, we cannot allow you to bring your own liquor of any kind in the Laurel or Rowan restaurant or lounge. This is due to the liquor license we have. We've done our best to price the menus inexpensively so that you can enjoy our wine. So you're not able to, because we have a mixed beverage license, we're not able to bring, even with a corkage fee, we can't even do that. So you can't bring your own to the Laurel or the Rowan. But hopefully you enjoy the wines that we're serving, and they're very reasonably priced, just about cost. So, and if you desire different wines to be placed on the menu, just reach out to Food and Beverage and let them know. Okay?
Can the mail out what we have on, it said we could bring drink bottles into the Laurel,
I know.
providing they were closed.
I know.
And not reused.
No, and I really believe that that's the way the TABC liquor license rules read, but our lawyer tells us that we need to not do that. We need to just only serve our liquor, our alcohol in the dining rooms that we have the liquor license. You can bring your own in the bistro, and I'm sorry for the confusion. The way I read it, if you're only serving wine and beer, you should be allowed to do a corkage fee and allow for people to bring in their own. But a mixed beverage license, they say, doesn't allow you to do that. And we went all the way and got the mixed beverage license. Eventually, there'll be a cocktail lounge in the Laurel. And I'll talk to you about that down the road, probably next chat. I'm gonna do a presentation on what phase 4 of our master plan is going to be. But for now, you can't bring any liquor, don't bring any liquor into the Rowan or the Laurel, okay? Only the bistro. Project updates. Interior signage project still in production. I talked to them yesterday. It's not quite ready yet. The correction signage is in that package as well. Windsor carpet replacement, they're now on the 2nd floor. The painting is almost finished on the 5th floor. They're touching up doors now, and then they're moving down to 4 as well. It looks really good. I think it looks good. If you get a chance, stop by and look at it. It's all coming together. Here's some pictures.
Very nice.
These pictures are actually of the 1st floor, the Arbor rehab suite. This is the corridors up there on the left-hand side. This is our new dining room, and this is what the doors look like on level 1. This is the lobby of the Windsor. If you haven't seen it, these are pictures. On the left-hand side is the new lobby and reception desk. My office is top center, and this is a new conference room for orientations and work sessions. And then this is our new boardroom. And this boardroom residents will be able to use for meetings as well. 5th floor Windsor, these are just pictures after they've done the work. So the painting has been completed. The doors are kind of an A&M color right there. Did I say that out loud?
So can we have it burn orange color, not burn orange
There is an orangish color, but I think it's more of a persimmon than it is, that's what I'm told it was, more than a longhorn. Yeah, for sure. But what we're trying to do is maintain that color palette throughout the complex, so you know that you're on the, the 5th floor, the 4th floor, or 1st floor, whatever.
Will that be the same for the Preston then too, eventually?
Eventually. Eventually.
You should live.
This 4th floor carpet only, so it's coming together. Spectrum Wi-Fi we already talked about. The solar. So the AC portion of the Carlisle is set to begin in 1 week. They'll be on site for about 5 days completing that project. Then they'll do a quality control inspection and prepare for the Austin Energy inspection. The Windsor is complete, and they are waiting for Austin Energy to come out and inspect that project. I've been promised a proposal for the service work at Preston. I received it yesterday, and I'm working on sharpening their pencil, getting them to sharpen their pencil. It's going to be a little bit more expensive. The good news is that Austin Energy is now paying 50% more for the kilowatts that we'll be producing, so that's good. So the project will actually end up saving Westminster a little bit more money. Pottery Studio is still pending setup. Ruth is using it for her office while hers is renovated, and it's working out pretty well. We talked about the boiler projects. And this is the new chiller in place, and it looks like the picture, pretty much. A thing of beauty right there. The sun doesn't glisten off of it like the one in the driveway, but it's still pretty. Yeah. I get this question a lot, and I thought I'd include it. So what is our breakdown for independent living apartments, and how do we rank, right? So the ending unit count is what we have now. Once we convert the old assisted living into independent living, we'll have 409 independent living units, 36 assisted living, 38 memory care, 55 skilled nursing, and 30 skilled nursing rehab. And so our total is 568. And that's a lot. And that makes us, I think it's like 42nd ranked in the country for size of senior living communities, single site senior living communities in the United States. So pretty cool. Lots of achievements so far this year. Our newest, we received a BBB positive Fitch rating from the Fitch Rating Agency. That means we're one of about 150 investment grade rated senior living communities in the country. And we're in about the top 60. And a Fitch positive rating, when you have a construction project that hasn't finished, that's awesome. So very glad about that. The Arbor Skilled Nursing was just awarded the Harrison Award for quality by Life Care Services, and only 6 communities out of 150 in the LCS portfolio achieved that rating and award status, and it's 5 stars, of course, you know that. And then we received a permanent certificate of occupancy for the Windsor first floor and the lobby and administration area, and we didn't have to re-pour any sidewalks, so I felt like that was an accomplishment as well. Just a reminder, star cards can be used for any associate, including those in management and supervisor positions. Star cards get turned, the associates get those. If you ever need a star card and you want to write something nice about somebody, pick them up at any reception desk. And the associates really appreciate that, those kind words that you have to say. And now, let's spend some time with Joe. So, there's a button.
Yeah, it's working.
So Joe is the assisted living director, so he has, his responsibility has increased quite a bit. He went from 22 to 76 units in overnight. Right? Yeah, 2.5 years of overnight. I just wanted you to tell a little bit about how you got here and how long you've been here, and just, what you think.
Okay,
All right.
so some of y'all might recognize me from the dog contest, the NC. I think I've learned how to say Winnie now. Did I say it correctly?
You did.
I did, okay, that's good. So my journey here to Westminster, so I guess we'll start. When I was 21, I was trying to find myself like a lot of people do. And I ended up in an order for Mother Teresa in Mexico City. And I was there for almost 5 years before coming back. So I came back in my late 20s. And while I was there, I discovered that I enjoyed working with older people. I did a lot of homebound visits while I was there, and it just became more of my passion to do that. When I came back to the States, I started going to school. I had achieved my nursing degree in Mexico, but not here. So I started doing that and decided that I needed to find a community that I could work in that I enjoyed. I worked for a couple years at a nonprofit in Lockhart, Texas, and decided that I wanted to move to Austin to be able to go to school easier. I looked around for a nonprofit, which are very scarce, as some of y'all might know, especially when it comes to skilled nursing areas. But I found Westminster, and that was 23 years, 5 months ago. My first day was on December the 27th in 1999. And that started my journey here. And I've been able to achieve the position I'm in large part thanks to the tuition reimbursement that you offer. I used it, and I went to school, and then Chuck gave me the opportunity to advance. I started off as a CNA and just kept moving my way up. And it's through all that learning experience, and especially the mentorship of Chuck, that I've been able to achieve the position that I'm in today. I really enjoy working in assisted living. It enables me to have relationships with the residents that are there. And, it's really strange. I've been here for so long that I'm starting to now work with the children of the residents that I worked with in the beginning. So it's really comforting to them when they come in and they see me, because they've known me they've known me from working with their parents. So it's really good.
How's the new building working out?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it. If y'all haven't had a chance to see my office, y'all should come and see it. It's
It's
very
the nicest office on the campus, I'd say.
So if anyone hasn't had a chance to tour the Carlisle Assisted Living, just please come to the receptionist and we can set up an appointment, or if I'm free, I'm more than glad to show you around.
So are you totally full now?
Not yet,
Not yet.
not yet. We're working on it.
So you're about 70%, 75% assisted living? About there.
Yeah,
And then memory support has some availability, right?
it does.
So if you have friends that would benefit from a great memory support, this is really an exceptional place to be in memory support. It's an engaging activity program that really, the primary philosophy behind Westminster's memory support is to help each individual that lives there have as many moments of joy throughout the day as possible. And so everybody that works there is really focused on creating a successful day. And if you have Alzheimer's, dementia, cognitive loss, or people that do, it's hard to have that successful day. But they really do an exceptional job, and it's a program called Heartfelt Connections that really helps us learn the residents and really create that successful day for everyone. And of course, anytime you move into a new building, you have a new environment that you have to learn, and you're having a mix of residents that you need to learn, and it takes a little while for all of that to come together. But I'm really impressed with the speed of which you guys have really created a great environment for people to live in and enjoy and have purpose. And I see a lot of joy when I'm walking over there. I love watching it. I wish I could spend all day in the memory support unit, because it's just busy fun all the time.
It is. It is. They're always making cookies, which I enjoy.
Yeah. Me too, unfortunately.
Yeah, me too. They figured out my favorites are chocolate chips, so they're always making them in the morning, so that's really good.
Joe, I have a question.
Yes,
When it
ma'am.
comes to food, we have a lot of friends that are over there, we've lived here any amount of time. And if that's the case, can we go over and have lunch? Or do we have to make an appointment to have lunch?
No, ma'am. Right now, because
Go
of,
ahead, take it. You probably need it.
right now, the regulations have really lessened down because of COVID. So there was a time when you could not come over and have a meal in assisted living, but now you can. You're able, if you have a friend, we have plenty of room in the main assisted living dining room, so you're more than welcome to join there. And the dining experience now is very different than what it was before. It's very much like the bistro. You sit down at the table, they come take your drink order, they have a wait staff, you order at the table itself. So it's a lot different. So you're more than welcome to come.
Has anybody afraid to go to memory support here? That you might not have a good visit? No? That's good. One thing that I hear often is that, oh, I wouldn't know what to say. Maybe somebody that has Alzheimer's or cognitive loss, right? It's really a really great visit is reminiscing about the old times, right? Not talking about, don't ask a resident that has Alzheimer's that's in memory support what they had for breakfast this morning, because they're not going to remember that. But if they remember you can have a great conversation about something that happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 30, 40 years ago. And you sometimes think that your visits aren't meaningful, but they really are. And you may not see it at the moment that you're having a visit with somebody with Alzheimer's, but it is meaningful to them. It makes them feel good just to have that personal contact. And then a lot of times, the residents really miss you, and they miss the contact. They maybe can't, if we don't want to, sometimes a resident can get agitated if they're overstimulated. So a group like this is not a great place to have folks with Alzheimer's and dementia, but don't be afraid to go over there. And Joe and Brooks and the team over there, they'll help you have a good visit. They can. And it's really impactful, and it makes the people over there feel so good. And your visit, every single visit you make makes a positive impact for them. As long as you're not, hey, what'd you have for breakfast? Oh, you don't remember me or whatever. Just be positive, just be upbeat, watch their body language, and you can have a really great visit, reminiscing about the old days, and it's fun.
Chuck, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I'm just brand new to the Carlisle building, and there are many issues with it. But the one big issue I have is floodlights that on the ground, in the garden areas that shine directly into our apartment on the 5th floor. It's like being in Las Vegas. It's just, we don't need lights on in the house to read at night. I'm wondering if there's any way that those floodlights could be directed to the ground floor apartments or the ground floor.
Yeah, I don't know which lights you're talking about. There shouldn't be any floodlights that are directly in your apartment. are pointed towards your apartment.
Well, there are three, we're on.
There are lights?
Yeah, three, big lights,
Okay.
that just shine in the apartment. Now, I don't know if
Okay.
anybody else in
Well-
other apartments are having that issue, but it's certainly very.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about that, and some folks have decided to put in some blackout shades. But if it's reflecting into your apartment, we'll address it. What we have done in the past is we put little metal skirts around those things so that they're pointed down
Okay.
and not reflecting into your apartment. I'll look at
I
that with the
appreciate
lighting
that very much.
consultant.
That-
Yeah.
That would be great. And I have another thing about the swimming pool. If someone could put some covers on the bars going down the ladders into the swimming pool or getting out, because they're quite slick when your hands are wet. And also on the bar that, on the, I guess it's called the wheelchair ramp down into the pool. That's another place that could use some covers on the.
What is it? I'm sorry. I
They're
don't understand.
covers, you can buy these, they're rubber covers and they're Velcroed underneath. And you can get them on Amazon for $20.
This is the first time anybody's mentioned it.
Well.
Covers for the bars in the pool. What was the
yes,
other item
I talked to Robin about it, and Robin said she would take it to management, but.
though? Okay.
we're
I'm
still-
sure she will.
I'm sure she will.
Sometimes it's hard to get a hold of management.
Well, that's why I'm talking to you while I have a hold of you.
All right. I'll look into it. Yeah, I will look into it.
And another issue.
No, you said there was only two.
The floor is very slick in the locker rooms, and I'm wondering, is there the possibility of getting some of those floor mats so that someone won't slip and fall on the floors in the locker room?
It's supposed to be textured tile. Is it
Well,
slippery?
it's very slick.
All right, who thinks the locker room is slippery?
Who uses the locker? Yes.
2, 3 people? You need to wear water shoes, maybe. I'll look into it, but honestly, it's supposed to be textured. It's supposed to be a textured tile that's safe for pools, and these are senior living designers that installed it. They picked it. But I'll look at it.
Thank you very much.
But you're the first person that mentioned it.
Thank you.
Honestly, does anybody feel like that? Just a couple? Okay, a couple. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got one question, sir. Is the pool now temporarily closed down until further notice, or is that a temporary? Because yesterday I suddenly found, boom, the sign was up, the pool's closed until further notice.
I did not see a sign on the pool today.
Oh, maybe
It's
they
not closed.
resolved that,
Yeah,
so I can go back down and
I think so.
swim.
I haven't, yeah, as far as I know, you should be able to. There were people in the hot tub today, I know for sure. Because I walked in on them in the dark, you know, because the lights went out in the bistro.
If I have a chance, I'll check on it then, but yesterday they just had it temporarily down, maybe something temporarily came up.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, but you don't know if any.
There was no dead bodies or anything like that. So it's
Okay,
nothing
thank you.
serious.
I'll try it out.
All right. The gentleman next to you, I think had a question, right? No? Oh, you were just, okay.
Chuck, somebody told me on staff that the arbor would be open for use, the door, the lobby, to be picked up there and get things there and so on June 1st, but that doesn't sound like it from what you put up. Is there a date for when the arbor will be able to be used, the entranceway?
Well, technically speaking, you can use it. It's difficult to get in and out of that circle driveway with that mobile chiller in place. You can use the doors to walk through. It's going to be difficult to pick up there until the mobile chiller's out of the way. And I'm really uneasy about removing the mobile chiller until I've seen the chillers that have just been installed working really well. So I'm gonna wait on that. I will tell you that June the 6th, which I believe is next Tuesday, we start taking our first residents into the first floor, right? So that'll open. It'll be staffed. The reception desk is staffed now. You can walk through that lobby. It's no longer construction area. The corridors can be used. There is some functionalities with the doors that has to be reset to the style that it was before. But for pedestrians, you can use it. It's going to be difficult to drop off there, okay, until we get the mobile chiller out of the way. which I expect to be the following week. So around the 12th or 13th, probably. Yes, sir.
I think there's some misunderstanding going on
Closer.
about using the star card
Yeah.
and the small cards, when to use them and when not to. I mean, HR is not even clear on that, and the employees aren't clear on that either. And we're not clear on it.
Okay,
So
I would-
if you review all of that and what it takes for the waiters not to get maximum for their wages.
Okay, I explained this at a previous chat, but, so the little cards, the little comment cards that you fill out in the dining room, those are a way that you kind of tip the associates, but you can't really tip, right? So you're rating your service. And what happens is in the front of the house, because we were having a difficulty hiring servers, right? Nobody wants to be a waitress or waiter or server anymore. We now call them hospitality ambassadors. It works. I don't know. We're fully staffed, right? So, and what we did was we created a system where there's an incentive, right, for each of the front of the house employees, and it's based on your critique of them as well as other things like if anybody's worked in a restaurant, you have to do side work, right? As a server, hospitality ambassador, you have to do side work. You are supposed to wear your uniform, wear your name badge, show up to work on time, be hospitable. And then so those things get you the base. Like there's 4 tiers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just doing those things gets you the base, right? If you provide 4-star service to your constituents, the clients, the residents, and you get those cards and they fill out that you're a 4-star, then you're going to achieve the next level of incentive. That means you've achieved $150 for that week.
Well, how many cards do they have?
It doesn't matter how many they have, it's an average of the cards that are turned in. If they provide 5-star service to you, that gets all 4 tiers of that incentive. So $200 a week is that person's eligible for. So it's basically $5 more an hour that associate can get. And the reason that I created this program was a couple things. One, I wanted the service to improve. I wanted it to be 5-star service. I really want every associate that works in the dining room to achieve 100% of the incentive. That's the goal, right? And I would say that maybe 20% of the hospitality ambassadors are receiving 100% of the incentive. About 75% of the hospitality ambassador servers are receiving 75%. So there's room to grow, and they're doing it. I think if you've noticed, the service has improved. Our ability to recruit and hire and retain front of the house associates has improved. And this program is a big part of that. Now the star cards, these things. So what happens with these cards, these are cards meant to compliment an associate for going above and beyond. Maybe they solved a problem for you that maybe wasn't even in their responsibility. Maybe Ruth programmed an activity that you just thought was fantastic, that you'd never experienced it before, or that you experienced something that just wowed you, right? Maybe somebody did service recovery with you and they responded in such a way that it impressed you. Maybe an associate greets you every day warmly by name and with a smile every single day. And that's exceptional in this day and age, right? Then you can fill out one of these cards. And what happens is these cards get collected throughout the year, and everyone gets tallied up for every single associate. And then we award gifts and awards at our awards ceremony once a year, where every associate, every department has a star of the year, and it's based on the cards that you fill out. So this is really an extra appreciation for the associates that work here, and just really, and anybody can fill one out. An associate can fill out for another associate. Resident can fill out for an associate. Resident can fill out for a supervisor. a department head, anybody. But it's really just an additional, it's part of our culture. It's part of what makes us who we are, that we have this courtesy and respect, courteous respect for the residents that we serve, and also the residents have that in turn for the associates. And that's what creates a culture that we have here as an employer. That's one of the reasons that we've maintained Top Workplace for so many years. When I was at a Leading Age conference, that's our senior living conference for nonprofits in Texas recently, and I was meeting with a group of executive directors and administrators. You know, most of them are still using 20 to 30% agency. Many of them had dining rooms closed still that they can't open because they don't have enough staff to run them. And we are not in that situation. And it has a lot to do with the culture that we've created and these little things that we do that's above and beyond what most people do. And the hospitality that you experience here, yes, we're serving 24,000 meals a month. And yes, you may have a bad meal once in a while. But I'll bet you 23,500 of those meals are excellent meals. And the hospitality that you receive from our associates is exceptional, especially in this day and age. You don't get it anymore. And they're working hard every single day to do that for you. As am I. We're not perfect, but we're striving for it every single day. But that's what those two programs are. The Star Cards are really above and beyond, and those comment cards on your table, please fill those out. Turn them in. It helps not only associates achieve those incentives, but write comments on there. If you want to see the green beans cooked a little more, write that on the card. I read those cards. The managers read those cards, and if enough people say to cook the green beans longer, then we're going to cook the green beans longer. We want you to be happy, not upset. There's another question over there.
Do we still have pest control here?
We do. I cannot remember the name of the company right now. Versacor, I believe is their name.
Well, I asked because I had a recent visit from an enormous, big roach.
They're really big here. Yeah.
It's Texas.
Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas. I saw one the other day, I had to drop kick it. I would have sworn it kicked me back, but anyway. Yeah, we do have it. Just call reception, tell them you need service. And we are treating for mosquitoes that Versacor or Urban Dirt, our new landscape company, they'll be treating for that. We were using ABC, but not anymore. And you had a follow-up question?
I've got a follow-up in that the ambassadors, we'll call it, need to deliver those cards with a pen to the table for how many people are there.
Yeah.
Not just up at the front. And each one of us needs to fill one out in every meal we.
Yeah, I'll talk to them about that. We need to have the cards more readily available. Yeah. Yeah. And that's okay. It works out. I mean, it works out one way or another. But yes, ma'am.
I just want to compliment you. I see something on the wall over there on the right that just got put up. The emergency pull cord.
Yes.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And when the shades are coming, they're 6 to 8 weeks out, but they're coming. Everything is 6 to 8 weeks out. All right, I think that's it for today. Oh, sorry, one more.
I got one more thing.
Only because you have the microphone in your hand.
Yeah, and she just reminded me of my private suggestion a couple of months ago. I have horrible handwriting and I get writer's block when I try to put something on paper, but I can use my fingers real well on a keyboard. Is there any way you could turn those cards into an online document as an option?
What cards?
The star cards.
The
and
star cards? Sure.
Both of them.
We could do that.
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
You know, make
We will work on that.
And you have something in your head, you sit down and put it down. I'll say, I need to do this, and I just never get around to doing it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I will tell you this, you don't have to fill out a star card. If you email any leadership team or the reception desk a note that's, says something kind about an associate, we turn it into a star card. We'll attach it to a star card, or we will deliver the note to the associate, and it also counts as a star card, okay? It doesn't have to be on the star card. So that, maybe we just do it that way, but we'll look for that, look for a possibility to do that. Thank you all very much. Have a great rest of your week.